Hello everybody, you have tuned in to Eric Jose on Making a Murderer on YouTube. I cover virtually any aspect of making a murderer. I go over the evidence, the documents, the photos. So if you like, stay tuned, and in the future I'll have many more videos besides the one you're about to see. Hello everybody. So I am kind of making my way through the new CASO, partially because I'm busy and just can't go through it all once, real quick, but also because I think I'm kind of being able to take it in as I go this way. But okay, so today was looking at it and saw a statement from a young lady who was very close to Teresa Halbach. In fact, so close to her that they had actually taken a road trip together very recently in terms of when Teresa disappeared. In fact, about 2.5 months before, or a month and a half. Well, right around somewhere between a month and a half and 2 months or so. On basically August 15th. So the interesting thing is that in this particular report, this young lady is able to produce pictures from when her and Teresa were on that trip. So there's a picture of the RAV4 basically 2.5 months before Teresa goes missing. So the reason why that's important is because, remember, Ryan Hillegas originally said that she had damaged it. It had been damaged for months, that she had filed a claim, gotten a lump sum, and just hadn't repaired it. Well, and I'm hoping that maybe my friend Joe Burns will be able to take a look at this and maybe do some image, analyzation, or because he's pretty good with working with the images on a computer to make them clearer and this and that. So I'm wondering if he might be able to look at these and tell. But it looks to me, from what I can tell, that there doesn't appear to be any damage to the front driver's side of that car. But I'll let everybody make their own decision here. So anyway, the statement we're going to look at right now is interesting for a few reasons. I would also remind everybody, as you're seeing the documents we're about to go into, is to ask yourself, can the key and the lanyard be any more of an odd duck? So we'll see. You'll see what I mean when you see the statement here we're about to look at. I showed Kelly a photograph, Exhibit 191, depicting the front of Teresa's RAV4. Kelly advised that she did not remember the damage to the left front area of Teresa's vehicle. I showed Kelly a photograph, Exhibit 285, depicting only the lanyard in a photograph. Exhibit 219, depicting the key and a short piece of lanyard. Kelly stated she did not recognize the lanyard, but stated that the key depicted in the photograph was very similar to the key that Kelly recalled Teresa having. Kelly could not definitively say that this was the same key. Kelly indicated that while on their road trip, they were camping, and at one point Teresa lost the only key she had for her RAV4. Kelly indicated the key was subsequently located in the tent, and Kelly made a lanyard out of duct tape, and they attached it to the key as a joke. Kelly explained that the key without the remote door lock feature was the only key she ever saw Teresa with. Now, before we move on here, this is interesting to me because duct tape would tend to leave a residue that would hang around. I mean, it doesn't just, especially if it was wrapped through the inner part of the key, where usually where your key ring would go, like on that inside part of there, it'd be pretty tough to get it all out of there. If in fact, she was, so this is interesting to me. But so a couple things that I felt were interesting there. Number one, about the duct tape, making the lanyard out of duct tape or whatever, for the, like that duct tape residue would be most likely stick around, especially in that little area where the key rings usually go through. I feel fairly, very, very certain of that. Also, is the fact that she didn't recognize the lanyard, which has been kind of like viewed as odd for a lot of reasons. The fact that this key and this lanyard were in a cabinet and nobody spotted it until the 8th or 9th search and that sort of thing. when that cabinet was getting gone through. You can clearly see that things get removed from it and reshuffled and put back into it, and there's pictures of it looking different. So that it's not like there was nobody looking in that cabinet, and it's like a key with a lanyard. It's not like some little tiny little thing that can hide away. There's a lot of things make that thing an odd duck. But then she goes on to say that the key looked very similar to the one she remembers using, because on this road trip she drove Teresa's RAV4 a couple times. So if she was driving Teresa's car, she would have most likely been, when she got into it, would be noticing if there was anything wrong up on the front, driver's side there, with the blinkers and whatever else, right? So that's the interesting thing here. So, but like I wanted to point out, this number one, the duct tape residue. Number two, the fact that she doesn't recognize. I mean, it could be she's looking at that picture going, I don't remember it having such machine marks on it, and kind of remember it being more worn where there was more brass showing, right? Like we all think is weird about that key. So, I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that she chose the words it looked very similar to the key that she remembered using and everything. So anyways, just want to point those things out. So we'll move on. Kelly indicated she last saw Teresa on the weekend of 10/28/05. Kelly stated she and Teresa were up in Stockbridge area on either Friday or Saturday night and had driven separately. Kelly also indicated Teresa once told her some of the customers for Auto Trader magazine that Teresa dealt with creeped her out. Kelly indicated she believed she had photographs of the road trip that took place in either July or August of 2005. Kelly indicated that she would attempt to locate these photographs and then contact me. My interview with Kelly concluded at 16:45 hours, and Special Investigator John Dietering. Okay, so this is where I went, what? Oh, pictures of the RAV4 2.5 months before Teresa went missing. Okay, great, awesome. So they are in the report. Unfortunately, they're black and white. They accompany a page of the journal that she kept. And she said that her and Teresa both journalized their trip. But she found her journal, and so she produced a page from it to explain, I guess, kind of where they were in these pictures that she was able to give to Dietering. And that's, so here, we'll go ahead and show you real quick. Okay, Kelly had called back to John Dietering. Kelly indicated she had located 2 pictures of Teresa's vehicle from their road trip. Kelly indicated that the road trip took place on 8/13/05 through 8/16/05. Kelly stated she was certain of this because she and Teresa had journaled their road trip, and that Kelly had located the journal. Kelly subsequently emailed me copies of 2 photographs that contained Teresa's RAV4, as well as a page of the journal dated 8/14/05. Copies of the photographs, as well as the journal entry, will be included in this report. Investigation continues. Special Investigator John Dietering. Okay, so now I will show you, albeit black and white copies, but we'll take a look at these photos here real quick. Okay, so real quick before we look at these, just remember, it's important because Ryan Hilligas claims that this damage occurred months before she went missing, and that she'd gotten a lump sum payment and just had never fixed it. But it doesn't really look like the car is damaged in this picture. The RAV is a bit far away and it's a black and white picture, but I don't see a point where like a piece is missing. So, but we'll take a look. Like I said, hopefully my buddy Joe Burns might even be able to help out with this and make the picture clearer. Might be able to possibly get hands on a better copy of the pictures themselves. I'll have to see. That may be possible. Anyways, but we'll look at what we got right now. Here we go. Alright, so this is a little bit from the journal entry of 8/14/05 here, as he said in the report. It's kind of just some funny kind of stuff here, talking about always pick duct tape because, blah, 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 because she put the duct tape, lanyard type thing she made. Keys are meant to be on keychains, number 4 or 5. Hang out with hippies more often because they're nice. Anyway, so they were on a fun little road trip, having some fun, and this is how we know that the pictures we're about to see are from approximately this time period of 8/14/05. Okay, so this would be the picture here, where right over here, this would be where the damage would be, but it doesn't look damaged. It looks like a nice rounded molded curve like you would see come out of the factory pretty much, but it is kind of far away. You know, let's see if we can zoom on it a little bit. Alright, well, here it is a little closer up. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm seeing what looks like normal. It looks like it's, you know, the way it would come from the factory. I don't see like any jagged, weird looking stuff. So clearly Teresa's friend didn't notice it, and she was driving, so she would have been on that side walking up to the car. It's hard to believe she wouldn't have noticed that much damage to the car. So kind of blows the whole claim of Ryan that she damaged it months before and just hadn't gotten it fixed, because this is actually in August of that year, so it's just a couple months before. So that's the interesting bit there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other picture now. Okay, and here's the other picture. It's of the passenger side. You know, so something to consider. It's actual recent pictures, 2 months before what happened, 2.5 months maybe, before what happened to Teresa, you know, on the night of October 31st or around that time. So this gives us kind of an idea of how the RAV4 was looking up to that point. So there's something interesting that I, you know, thought needed to be looked at and kind of at least pointed out as I'm going through the CASO at my own pace. Now I am aware of other things. Obviously, I have seen on Twitter and certain things. I'm aware of the whole Carmen Boutwell thing, and KZ, you know, going to be able to test it with, I guess, from some actual earth that was taken from the fire pit back in 2005. So they'll be able to compare some things. That could be very interesting. But wanted to point this out today because I thought it was very interesting. You know, it's just the key and the lanyard have always been such an odd duck, and it's very well recognized. It's, you know, as an odd duck. Even Kratz in his closing argument says, you know, even if you don't count the key, or even if you disregard the key, or, you know, or whatever, like almost himself pretty much acknowledging, okay, maybe that was planted, right? So it's like with all the oddness, and then here Teresa's friend, who spent an entire week on a road trip with her at one point and was driving at times, maybe not all the time, but was driving at times and things like that, got to know that car, got to know that key pretty well, and to see her responses to the pictures that are being shown to her, I don't recognize that lanyard, and oh, that key looks very similar to the key that I remember using when I was with Teresa. It's just, to me, very, very interesting wording to my mind. So, I mean, like I said, and then the whole thing about the duct tape lanyard. That's very interesting, too, because that certainly, duct tape would have left some residue on there that most likely would have never been gotten off. You know, that neither of them would have bothered probably cleaning it so much that they would have gotten like a scrub brush and been like in that little area where your key ring goes through the key, right? That's what I'm saying. If duct tape was put through that hole, then there's going to be duct tape residue in there, and yeah, and it would stick around for quite a long time. I think that's highly interesting. Anyways, so that's what I thought was interesting about this particular statement. As I said, as I go through CASO and find more things that I find interesting, I'll talk about them. Obviously, when I get to the Carmen Boutwell and the whole testing that may happen there, I will, you know, talk about that as well. So, anyways, that's it for now, folks. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.